everyone, it's me, Demetra Kaye of the Demetra Kaye Show here on YouTube, and a proud contributor of the African Diaspora News channel and the African Diaspora News Insider. If you could do me a favor and please subscribe to all channels and most definitely like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. So today I'm going to talk to you about that of Joe Ligon. He is actually the longest serving juvenile, and he was just released from prison last week after serving 68 years for participating in a string of robberies that actually resulted in 2 people being killed. Now, he was 15 years old when he was sentenced in 1953, and here in 2021, he was released. Now, so many things have happened and changed within the almost 70 years that Mr. Ligon served behind bars there in Pennsylvania. Now, he actually had a chance to be released in the 70s, but for some reason, he didn't apply for commutation. He could have been one of 500 juveniles at the time to be released, but for whatever reason, he didn't apply. But in 2017, he had another chance to actually be released from prison if he would have agreed to serving a life parole sentence, right? So after he was released from prison, he would have had to agree to be a parolee for life. And he said that, you know what? I think after giving almost 70 years, to the prison system, I just don't see the point of me having to get out and then serve another life sentence of having to go to the parole office and, report, I can't leave, I can't do this, I can't do that, without having to check with, the parole board, or your parole officer is essentially a warden. And so he would just have another warden on the outside. And so he said that he wanted to be totally free. And so here in 2021, he was finally released. And so again, he is the longest serving juvenile lifer in U.S. history. So he is now 83 years old, having to, get out and try to acclimate to society, right? And they said while he was in prison, he would look at, the world news and stuff on his small television in his cell to try to get used to society once he did get out. But, he says, looking out of the window now that he is free, he doesn't recall any of the things, the buildings and stuff that he sees now. None of that stuff was there, obviously, in 1953. And it should also be said in 1953, Dwight Eisenhower was the president. So that's how long, he had been incarcerated. But to me, it was so sad, especially when he says, he just wished that his mom and dad and, other loved ones were there to witness him and actually see the day that he is free. Now, of course, him being 83 years old, it's not likely, that his parents would still be here. Obviously, they have passed on. But just, imagining being 83 years old and spending almost 70 years of your life behind bars as a 15-year-old. And, he said he was there during the robberies. And I guess it was, some guys he was hanging around. They were drunk teenagers, and 2 people ended up getting killed. Now, during that time, they labeled them as a wolf pack, headhunters, call it a night of terror. And so obviously him being black, and I'm sure the other boys, men, I guess at this point, were black, and they were sentenced to life. And so he said, I didn't do it, I was there. But in the Constitution says that it's unconstitutional to sentence, juveniles for the rest of their life. Because let's be honest, when you're a child, you do silly things. And I'm not saying that, murder is silly. It's a little bit more serious than silly. It's heinous. But you might not do those things or think that way as you're an adult. And so to throw the key away and, lock somebody away for the rest of their life, especially as a child, it doesn't leave very much room for redemption. And so, essentially with Mr. Joe Ligon, that's what happened to him. The key was thrown away and he was locked away and forgotten, pretty much in a Pennsylvania prison for all of his life. And so it's like, what do you do after serving almost 70 years, not 7, not 17, but 70 years of your life? Now you're out to do what? And so there's been organizations that have paid for him a place to stay for a year, but obviously he's going to need, a little bit more than that. And so they've done crowdfunding and different things like that to help him sustain and apply for Social Security and those type of things. But, you know, it just speaks largely to the fact that, especially with our people, Black people, they over sentence our people, you know, egregiously. Life, as you know, for a 15-year-old, never seen the light of day, or, you know, if they do, they're 83 years old, right? And so I just think it's important for us as Black people to be careful who we vote for, but be careful who we get behind, especially now that we have the mass incarceration ticket of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You know, they're huge on incarcerating Black people. And so I think we need to start asking more questions and taking, you know, these elections more seriously, especially when it comes to our elected officials. What are they actually going to do for Black people or do to Black people? So for more insightful videos and commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube. Peace.